Hey guys, so as a small disclaimer before this video continues, I want to make it clear that you can enjoy whatever game you want to enjoy. If people call it dead or relevant or whatever, that doesn't mean you can't enjoy it. So yeah, just play whatever game you want. This video is just my opinion. Just don't take this video too personally. Alright, so as some of you may know, since this channel became very gaming focused, I've played 3 games mainly: FIFA, Rocket League, and Fortnite. And as more of you may know, my content currently over the past month or two has been Rocket League. And even 2 years ago I did some Rocket League content. So I have noticed that the game gets mentioned when people talk about games that people are playing in quarantine. And it's still a somewhat big game when you talk about it. However, when I started looking at some of the numbers, I had to question whether this game actually is that big. So, that's exactly what this video is for, to find an answer to the title question of this video. So the main topics I will be looking at: Google Trends, Twitch numbers, YouTube views, number of players on the game, and Epic Games buying Rocket League. Now I will be looking at Google Trends. So as you can see from the screenshot on the screen, Rocket League has been pretty consistent over the past 5 years since its release around 2015-2016. Obviously it peaked at its launch in terms of Google and YouTube searches and all of that, and since then it's been pretty consistent since the beginning, or since that original peak at least. So judging by this, you can say that Rocket League has never truly died down. This was supposed to be like a plot graph where you just compare it from the average over certain amounts of time. Then yes, it has gone down from, for example, 2017. However, that dip is not major enough, in my opinion at least, to say that Rocket League has died down. I think it would be unfair to say that it is a lot less talked about or a lot less relevant than when it was originally released and when people first started properly playing it. That being said, just going to compare this to Fortnite, because again, that has been the biggest game in the world for around a year or two now. So obviously if you put in Fortnite, the peak of Rocket League in 2015 is around 4 or 5% of what the peak of Fortnite was. So purely based on that, we cannot say that Rocket League is irrelevant. We can say it's less relevant than Fortnite, obviously, because Fortnite is one of the biggest games in the world. It can be seen as cringy, or a lot of people don't like it. I understand why, but there is no denying the fact that it is one of the biggest games in the world and has been for a long time now. So again, you cannot discredit Rocket League based on the insane success of Fortnite. Alright, so my next topic is Twitch numbers. So I've got a few screenshots on the screen right now of where Rocket League ranks in terms of other games in a lot of different categories on Twitch Tracker. I will link my sources in the description. So these are all around 20 to 40th position. So if we're only supposed to judge Rocket League based on that, you would say, okay, it's fairly big, however, not, one of the biggest games in the world, at least not right now. So obviously Rocket League isn't competing with one of the biggest games in the world, but that does not mean it's irrelevant. Purely based on Twitch numbers, we cannot quite get a full judgment of whether Rocket League is still a relevant game. My next topic is YouTube, obviously another huge platform for sharing gaming content. So I will mainly be looking at people I personally watch, and this will be 2 people in particular: Sunless Khan and Zeke. So if we look at Social Blade right now, Sunless Khan is gaining at least 1,000 subscribers per day. So there's still thousands of people, judging by Social Blade, that are still interested in Rocket League. If we look at Zeke, he is a lot smaller compared to, for example, Sunless Khan, but I first found him when I saw that one of his videos blew up. It was called What Bronze to Grand Champ Actually Looks Like. It's got 700,000 views, which just kind of shows me that there's still potential for Rocket League YouTubers to blow up, to get really big really fast. And that video was uploaded 3 months ago at a time when I'm assuming he had maybe 10,000 subscribers, and as I said, that video is getting closer to 700,000 views now. What I can say is that there are still hundreds of thousands of people still watching content on these platforms. like Twitch and YouTube, there are still hundreds of thousands of Rocket League players watching content. Oh, and also on the topic of YouTube, I mean, the other day PewDiePie literally did a Rocket League stream and it got like 85 to 90,000 viewers. That is obviously because he's PewDiePie, but still, like, there are still many people who stayed to watch the stream even though it was Rocket League, which I think was pretty cool. Alright, so the next topic is actually the amount of players playing the game. So I found that on Steam, because it's a bit harder to see concurrent players if you add consoles to it, so I'll only be looking at PC and Steam numbers. So in March of 2020, Rocket League actually hit a record amount of concurrent players at 119,000 PC players online at once, which beats out the last record, which was set in April of 2016 at 102,000. This is most likely helped a lot by the current situation in the world. However, that still shows that there are many people who are interested in the game, enjoy the game, play the game. So, and 119,000 is still like quite a lot, especially seeing as it's at the same time. Alright, so my next topic is not really, or it's kind of linked to relevancy, but also just kind of general success. So, as some of you may know, the team behind Rocket League, Psyonix, was bought by Fortnite developers Epic Games in 2019, and I feel like because of this, Rocket League might have been helped, or like, you know, with its relevancy, because Epic Games is such a big company. So I feel like, especially with the introduction of the Rocket Pass, I do believe that the acquisition of Psyonix from Epic's behalf has helped the game at least slightly, because that Rocket League has been on the Epic Games Store. So yes, I do think that that has helped with Rocket League's relevancy. So from all these numbers and business decisions and comparing the game to Fortnite, can I finally conclude with a definitive answer? Is Rocket League relevant or not? Is it relevant or cue rice gum? Irrelevant. I personally think that Rocket League is relevant. I think this because many people are still enjoying the game, and by many people I still mean like hundreds of thousands, if not most likely millions of players are still playing the game, at least on a weekly basis. So I do still think that there is like a positive community around Rocket League, and I do still think that it is relevant because, I mean, it's still, like, it has never truly died down properly, and I do think it was one of the biggest games, maybe top 15 games in the world once it was released. And again, as you saw from the Google Trends chart and from the Steam Players chart, it hasn't really dipped down that much, and especially now that it has peaked, it really is like still not one of the biggest games in the world, but I would still say that it is somewhat relevant. The average person would probably not even know what Rocket League is, but there are still many people who either know what it is, are aware of it, play it, you know, watch content, or, you know, just enjoy it overall. So if you enjoyed my opinion, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, please. I'm desperate. We're so close to 300 subscribers, and if you don't think that some of my points in this video were that relevant, I completely understand you. That's totally fine. I also don't think you shouldn't have taken this video too seriously. I've just come back to the game like 2-3 months ago, so I don't know too much about the community or, you know, how the game is perceived just yet. But yeah, that will be the end of the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time. Peace out.
Yeah, they can't hold us back, we on another level. Yeah, it's that new age, ain't it something special? Yeah, we gon' change the game, we gon' live forever. Yeah, it's that new age, it's that new age. This is the new age. Now they wanna play cause they tryna get paid, but they